You have been taught that to be rich, you must hoard. You have been taught to squeeze the penny until it screams, believing that your safety lies in what you keep. But I am here to tell you that your tight grip is the very thing choking your supply. You are blocking the divine flow with your own fear. Listen closely, for we are about to unravel the great paradox of prosperity. We are about to prove that in the kingdom of abundance, you must often release what you have in order to receive what you need. Open your hands and open your mind. You must understand that money is not a solid, static thing. It is a current. That is why we call it currency. A current must flow. If you stop the flow of electricity, the light goes out. If you stop the flow of blood, the body dies. If you stop the flow of money, the prosperity withers. When you hoard, you are building a dam in the river of your life. You look at the stagnant water behind the dam and you say, "Look how safe I am. Look how much I have gathered." But the water turns green. It turns fall. Nothing grows there. Meanwhile, the fresh water from the mountains, the infinite supply of God, cannot reach you because you have blocked the channel with your fear. Hoarding is an affirmation of lack. Every time you refuse to spend money on a necessity, or even a rightful desire, because you are afraid you will not get more, you are sending a telegram to the universe that says, "I am poor, and I expect to stay poor." The universe, which is the great mirror of your subconscious mind, reflects that belief back to you as empty pockets and unpaid bills. The paradox is this: to keep your wealth, you must circulate it. There is that scattereth, and yet increaseth, and there is that withholdeth more than is meet, but it tendeth to poverty. This is an ancient spiritual law, as old as the scriptures, yet you act as if you can bypass it with your calculator. You cannot cheat the law. The law says that what you send out, you receive. If you send out money with a blessing, with a feeling of freedom, with a trust in the divine source, it returns to you multiplied. It comes back on the next wave. But if you hold it back, if you hide it in the mattress or lock it in the vault of anxiety, you are cutting off the return. You are telling the divine substance that you do not trust it to replenish you. You are saying, "God can provide this much, but no more." You are limiting the illimitable. Consider the feeling you have when you pay a bill. For most people, it is a feeling of resentment. You look at the electric bill, or the rent, or the tax, and you feel a pang of loss. You think, "There goes my hard-earned money." You write the check with a heavy hand. You click the button with a sigh. That sigh is a prayer for poverty. That heaviness is a magnet for debt. You are charging your money with the vibration of loss, and so it leaves you and does not return. You must change your mind about spending. You must learn the art of the fearless spender. The fearless spender knows that God is the instant and unfailing supply. The fearless spender pays the bill with a shout of praise. You should say, "I bless this money as it goes out. I bless the landlord. I bless the electric company. I give thanks that I have the ability to pay. I give thanks that this money is circulating in the world, doing good, feeding families, keeping the lights on." When you spend with this attitude, you are not losing anything. You are sowing seeds. And a seed sown in the soil of gratitude always brings a harvest. The man who hoards is preparing for a rainy day. And because he is preparing for it, the rain surely comes. The subconscious mind is always listening. It hears you say, "I must save this in case I get sick, or in case I lose my job, or in case of a disaster." The subconscious mind takes this as a command. It says, "Very well, we must create a sickness, or a job loss, or a disaster, so that this money can be used." You are hiring the storm to come to your door. You are using your creative power to build a future of calamity. Stop preparing for the rainy day. Prepare for the sunshine. Prepare for the golden age. Spend your money with the expectation that there is always more where that came from. This does not mean you should be foolish. It does not mean you should throw money away on things you do not want or need. It means you must not let fear dictate your spending. If you have a hunch to buy a new suit, and you have the money, buy it. That suit might be the vibration that gets you the new job. If you have a desire to take a trip, and the way opens, take it. That trip might be the place where you meet your divine partner. But if you hoard the money, you stay in the old suit. You stay in the old house, and you miss the appointment with your destiny. You are like a person standing in a room full of air, holding your breath because you are afraid that if you exhale, you will not be able to inhale again. It sounds ridiculous when we talk about air, because you trust the atmosphere. You know the air is there, but you do not trust the atmosphere of God's abundance. You hold your financial breath. You clench your fists. And because your fists are clenched, you cannot receive. You cannot catch the blessings that are raining down on you. Open your hands. Spend what you need to spend to live a life of dignity and beauty. God loves a cheerful giver, and God loves a cheerful spender. Be the person who tips well. Be the person who buys the coffee for the friend. Be the person who does not look at the price tag of a sandwich with terror. When you act rich, you impress the subconscious with richness. When you pinch pennies, you impress the subconscious with poverty. You cannot be a prince on the inside and a pauper on the outside. The outer must match the inner. There is a story of a woman who wanted a fur coat. She had the money saved, but she was afraid to spend it. She thought it was too extravagant. She thought she should save the money for the future. So she denied herself the coat. She wore her old threadbare coat. She felt poor. She looked poor. And because she vibrated poverty, her business declined. Her savings dwindled. Eventually, the money she had saved for the coat had to be used to pay for a repair on her house. She lost the money, and she didn't get the coat. This is the tragedy of hoarding. You lose what you try to keep. If she had bought the coat, she would have felt prosperous. She would have walked with her head high. She would have attracted new business. The money would have circulated back to her. By trying to keep it, she lost it. Do not make this mistake. Use what you have. Use your best china. Wear your best clothes. Live in the now. The someday you are saving for does not exist. There is only the eternal now. You must realize that your supply does not come from your job. It does not come from your investments. It does not come from your pension. These are just channels. Your supply comes from God. Infinite intelligence is the source. If one channel dries up, the source will open another. Provided you do not clog the pipes with your fear. Hoarding clogs the pipes. It tells the source, I do not trust you to make a new way. So I will cling to this old way. When you spend fearlessly, you are keeping the pipes clean. You are proving your faith. You are saying, God is my shepherd. I shall not want. You are living the 23rd Psalm, not just reciting it. Look at nature. Nature is lavish. Nature is extravagant. The tree does not hoard its leaves. It drops them in the autumn, trusting that the spring will bring new ones. The sun does not hoard its light. It shines on the just and the unjust. If the sun decided to save its light for a rainy day, we would all freeze. You are part of nature. You are a divine creation. You were meant to shine, to give, to circulate. When you try to stop the flow, you go against your own nature, and this causes friction. This friction manifests as worry, anxiety, and lack. Relax your grip. Let go. People often say, but I have so little, I must hold on to it. This is exactly why you have so little. You have been holding on to it. You have been squeezing the life out of your supply. Try a new method. Try the method of the open hand. If you have only a little, bless it. Give a portion of it away. This breaks the hypnosis of lack. It startles the subconscious mind. It says, wait a minute, if he is giving money away, he must have plenty. And the subconscious mind begins to rearrange your affairs to match that belief. It attracts new opportunities. It finds lost items. It brings gifts. You must act as if you have plenty, even when the appearance is that you have little. This is the active faith that moves mountains. Hoarding is a form of idolatry. You are worshiping the money. You are putting the money above God. You are thinking that the money is your savior, your security, your fortress. But money is a false god. It can be lost. It can lose its value overnight. God cannot be stolen. God cannot be lost. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. When you place your trust in the stockpile, you are building your house on the sand. When you place your trust in the flow of spirit, you are building your house on the rock. The fearless spender worships God by using the money as a tool, not a master. The master commands the tool. The hoarder is a slave to the tool. There is a difference between saving for an investment and hoarding out of fear. Saving for a purpose, with a joyful expectation of growth, is constructive. It is forward-looking. It is preparing for a harvest. Hoarding is backward-looking. It is preparing for a siege. It is digging a bunker. You can feel a difference in your body. Saving feels light and exciting. Hoarding feels heavy and tight. Check your feelings. Why are you keeping this money? Is it for a dream? Or is it for a nightmare? If it is for a nightmare, spend it. Change the energy. Buy something beautiful. Give it to a cause you believe in. Break the pattern of fear. The law of use is the law of increase. Use your talents, and they grow. Use your muscles, and they get stronger. Use your money, and it multiplies. If you tie your arm to your side and refuse to use it, because you want to save it, it will wither. It will atrophy. The same happens to your finances. Money that is not used dies. It loses its spiritual vitality. You must keep the currency current. You must keep it moving. Even if you have a large amount of money, do not let it sit idle in fear. Invest it, circulate it, do good with it. Let it work. You have a divine design for your life, and that design includes a lavish supply. There is no poverty in the divine mind. There are no slums in heaven. You are here to manifest the glory of God, and you cannot do that if you are pinching pennies and living in fear of the bill collector. You must step into your role as the heir to the kingdom. The heir does not worry about the price of lunch. The heir knows that the Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. When you spend with this knowledge, you are dignified. You are calm. You are generous. And the world responds to this dignity. The world makes way for the person who knows who they are. Imagine your money as a golden stream of light. It flows into your life from the divine source, swirling around you, filling your needs, and then flowing out from you to bless others. As it flows out, it creates a vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum, so more must rush in to fill the space. The faster it flows out, the faster it flows in. If you put up a gate and stop the flow out, the flow in must also stop. You cannot fill a cup that is already full. You must empty the cup to receive more. Empty your cup of fear. Empty your cup of tight-fisted greed. Let the river flow. You may say, I will start spending when I have more money. But the law says, you will have more money when you start spending. You have to make the first move. You have to show your faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You must act the part before you get the part. If you want to be a wealthy person, watch how wealthy people treat money. They respect it, but they do not fear it. They use it. They command it. Start today with what you have. Buy the better brand of coffee. Buy the fresh flowers for your table. These small acts of luxury are powerful affirmations. They tell your soul that you are worth it. They tell the universe that you are ready for more. The paradox of hoarding is that the more you try to secure your future, the more insecure you make your present. And since the future is just an extension of the present, you are dooming yourself to a future of insecurity. Live in the present. Trust the present. God is in the present. If you are taken care of today, you will be taken care of tomorrow. The manna in the wilderness fell fresh every morning. The Israelites were told not to hoard it. Those who tried to save it overnight found that it had rotted. This is a spiritual lesson for you. Trust that tomorrow's manna will fall tomorrow. Eat today's manna with joy. Spend today's supply with gratitude. Release the fear of poverty. It is a ghost. It is a shadow. It has no power over you unless you give it power. Turn on the light of truth. The truth is that you are supported by an infinite, invisible supply that can never be exhausted. You can dip your bucket into the ocean as many times as you like. You will never drain the ocean. Why dip with a teaspoon? Dip with a bucket. Dip with a tanker. The ocean does not care. The limitation is only in the size of your vessel, and your vessel is your consciousness. Hoarding shrinks your vessel. Spending with faith expands it. So, tear down the dams. Remove the blocks. Let the money go. Bless it as it leaves your hand. Said, I send you forth to bless the world, and I invite the multiplied return. Feel the freedom of the open hand. Feel the joy of the open heart. You are a master. You are a master. You are not a victim of the economy. You are a creator of your own economy. The kingdom of God is within you, and the kingdom of God is a place of infinite, flowing, radiant abundance. Live there. Spend from there. And watch the windows of heaven open and pour out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive. Money is like water. It must flow to remain pure and powerful. If you hold on to it, if you trap it out of fear, it becomes a stagnant pool, muddy and lifeless. You have been wondering why your supply has stopped, why the fresh streams of revenue have dried up. It is because you have built a dam of anxiety. Today, we are going to break that dam. We are going to teach you the spiritual art of fearless spending. If you are ready to turn the trickle of lack into a river of plenty, pay attention. The law of circulation is about to be revealed. You must understand that the universe hates stagnation. Everything in the divine design is in constant motion. The tides move in and out. The blood circulates through the veins. The seasons change. When you try to hold on to money, when you clench your fist around a dollar bill, you are violating the fundamental law of rhythm. You are trying to freeze a wave. You cannot freeze a wave, you can only ride it. Hoarding is an attempt to stop the movement of life. It is an act of distrust. You are telling the infinite spirit that you do not believe there is any more where this came from. You are saying that this little puddle of water is all you will ever have, so you must guard it with your life. And because you believe this, it becomes true for you. The fresh water from the mountains of God cannot reach you, because your dam blocks the way. Consider the Dead Sea. It is dead because it receives water but does not give it out. It hoards every drop. And because it does not circulate, it is bitter and salty, and no life can survive in it. This is a perfect picture of the hoarder's life. It becomes bitter. It becomes lonely. The hoarder thinks he is safe, but he is actually in a prison of his own making. The walls of the prison are built of fear. Fear of poverty. Fear of the future. Fear of old age. These fears are the bricks that build the dam. You must remove the bricks. You must remove them one by one through the act of spending. Now, when I speak of spending, I am not speaking of reckless foolishness. I am speaking of spiritual circulation. There is a difference. Reckless spending comes from a lack of self-worth. Fearless spending comes from a knowledge of God. The fearless spender knows that money is merely a symbol of the infinite supply. It is not the supply itself. It is the shadow, not the substance. The substance is faith. If you have the substance, the shadow must follow. When you spend money fearlessly, you are proving your faith. You are acting the belief that your supply is inexhaustible. You are priming the pump. You know that to get water out of a pump, you must first pour water in. You must give to receive. You have likely heard the saying, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you shall find it after many days." This is the law of circulation. But the hoarder keeps his bread in the basement until it goes moldy. He is afraid to cast it. He is afraid he will starve. And because he holds it, it rots. If he had cast it, if he had released it into the flow of life, it would have returned to him as a feast. You must learn to cast your bread. You must learn to let go of the visible to grasp the invisible. Think about how you feel when you pay a bill. Do you feel resentment? Do you feel a tightening in your chest? Do you say to yourself, "There goes my hard-earned money"? If you do, you are poisoning your supply. You are cursing the money as it leaves you. And money that is cursed does not return to bless you. It stays away. You must change your internal dialogue. When you pay a bill, you must bless it. You must say, "I pay this with a willing heart. I give thanks that I have the money to pay it. I bless the landlord. I bless the electric company. I bless the grocer. I send this money out to do good work in the world. And I know it returns to me multiplied and running over." This change in attitude changes the vibration of your finances. It turns the stagnant pool into a flowing river. The paradox of hoarding is that the more you save for a rainy day, the more you attract the rain. The subconscious mind is a faithful servant, but it has no sense of humor. If you tell it, "I am saving this money for an emergency," it says, "Very well, I must create an emergency so we can use this money." You are literally planning for disaster. You are drawing up the blueprints for an accident, or an illness, or a loss. Stop planning for the rainy day. Plan for the sunshine. Save your money for a golden opportunity. Save it for a trip. Save it for a beautiful home. Save it for something that brings joy. Label your savings account the jackpot, or divine luxury. Do not label it, "In case of disaster." Words have power. Your labels have power. There is a spiritual law known as the laws of vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you create an empty space, the universe rushes to fill it. If your closet is full of old, worn-out clothes that you keep because you are afraid you cannot afford new ones, you have no room for the new. You are telling the universe, "I am satisfied with these rags." You must clean out the closet. You must give away the old to make room for the new. The same is true of your wallet. If you are afraid to empty it, it cannot be refilled. You must spend with the confidence that the refill is on its way. I knew a woman who wanted a beautiful fur coat. She had the money, but she felt guilty. She thought she should save it. She thought it was too extravagant. So she denied herself the coat. She hoarded the money. A few weeks later, her pipes burst in her house, and the repair bill was exactly the amount of the fur coat. She spent the money, but she got no joy from it. She got only a plumbing repair. She had prepared for a rainy day, and the rain came into her house. If she had bought the coat in faith, she would have raised her vibration. She would have felt rich. And that feeling of richness would have protected her property. Prosperity is a protection. Poverty thinking is a vulnerability. You cannot attract abundance if you feel poor. And nothing makes you feel poorer than hoarding. Every time you deny yourself a rightful desire, because of money, you impress the subconscious with the idea of poverty. You say to yourself, I cannot afford it. And the subconscious says, correct? You must reverse this. You must act as if you have plenty. This does not mean you spend money you do not have. It means you spend the money you do have with a princely spirit. You buy the better quality. You tip the waiter generously. You buy the gift for the friend. These small acts of faith shatter the dam of anxiety. They tell the universe that you are a channel for gold, not a stopper. Imagine a garden hose. If you put your thumb over the end and stop the water, the pressure builds up, but no water flows. Eventually, the hose might burst. This is what happens to your nerves when you hoard. The pressure of fear builds up. You become anxious. You cannot sleep. You worry about the stock market. You worry about your job. The flow has stopped. But take your thumb off. Let the water spray. Let it water the garden. The pressure is released. The flow is restored. And the water keeps coming from the source. The source is never empty. God is the source. The job is just the faucet. Do not worship the faucet. Worship the source. Even if the faucet breaks, the source can find another outlet. But you must be open to receive. You are treating money as if it were your God. You think money is your security. You think money is your fortress. But money is just paper and metal. It has no power of its own. It is only powerful when it moves. God is your security. God is your fortress. When you hoard money, you are putting your trust in the shadow instead of the substance. You are acting like an orphan who thinks he has to fend for himself. You are not an orphan. You are a child of the king. The king has infinite resources. Do you think the king's child worries about the price of lunch? Do you think the king's child hoards crumbs in his pocket? No. The king's child sits at the banquet table and eats his fill, knowing there is more in the kitchen. To break the dam, you must start making holes in it. You make holes in the dam by giving. Giving is the antidote to hoarding. If you are afraid to spend, give some money away. Give it to a church, or a charity, or a person in need. Do it before the reasoning mind talks you out of it. This shocks the subconscious. It says, wait, he is giving money away. He must be rich. And the subconscious begins to align your reality with that new belief. It starts to attract opportunities. It starts to attract luck. You will find money on the street. You will get a refund you didn't expect. You will get a raise. This is the law of circulation working for you. You have been holding your breath financially. You are afraid to exhale. But you cannot inhale until you exhale. You must let the money go out so the new money can come in. It is a cycle. Breath in, breath out. Receive, spend. Receive, give. If you try to only receive and never give, you suffocate. The stagnant pool suffocates the life within it. Do not be a stagnant pool. Be a river. Be a stream. Be a waterfall. Let the blessings crash over you and flow through you to others. There is a magical quality to spending when it is done under intuition. Sometimes you will get a hunch to buy something that seems illogical. Your reasoning mind says, you do not need that. But your spirit says, buy it. Follow the hunch. That object might be the key to a new door. That dress might be the one you wear when you meet your future husband. That book might contain the idea that makes you $1 million. The hoarder kills the hunch. The hoarder says, no, it costs too much. And by saving the pennies, he loses the fortune. The hunch is the voice of the divine design. The divine design always includes plenty. It always includes the best. It never includes lack. You must stop identifying with the poor me story. The hoarder loves the poor me story. He loves to talk about how expensive things are. He loves to complain about the prices. He loves to tell people how much he has sacrificed. This is a poverty affirmation. Stop it. Stop talking about the high cost of living. Talk about the lavishness of God. Talk about the abundance of the earth. There is plenty of food. There is plenty of gold. There is plenty of opportunity. The only lack is in your own mind. When you open your mind, the world opens its vaults to you. Look at the people who hold on the tightest. Are they happy? Are they at peace? No. They are usually the most miserable. They are consumed by the fear of loss. Now look at the people who are generous. Look at the people who spend freely and joyfully. They are magnetic. They are surrounded by friends. They are always cared for. Even if they lose everything, they get it back quickly, because they do not have the dam. They have the open channel. The channel is their consciousness. You cannot lose your consciousness. You can only improve it. Today, I want you to do something that scares your inner hoarder. Go out and buy something you have been denying yourself. It does not have to be a yacht. It can be a magazine. It can be a special coffee. It can be a pair of socks. But buy it with the specific intention of breaking the dam. Say to yourself as you buy it, I break the chains of fear. I open the floodgates of supply. I spend this money knowing that my Redeemer liveth, and my Redeemer is rich. Feel the fear arise, and then feel yourself walk through it. The fear is a paper tiger. It cannot hurt you. It is just a shadow on the wall. Money is meant to be a servant, not a master. When you hoard, money is your master. It dictates what you can do. It tells you where you can go. It tells you what you can eat. It is a cruel master. But when you spend fearlessly, you are the master. You tell the money where to go. You tell it what to do energy, and the energy obeys. Be the master of your supply. Stand tall. Look the world in the eye. You are not a beggar. You are a distributor of divine wealth. The river of plenty is flowing right past your door. It has always been there. You have just been too busy building your little mud wall to see it. Kick down the wall. Let the water in. Let it wash away the dust of the past. Let it wash away the memories of hard times. Those times are over. The famine is over. The harvest is here. But the harvest cannot be gathered by a closed hand. You must open your hand to pick the fruit. Trust the process. Trust the flow. If you let it go, it must return. It is a law of physics and a law of spirit. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The action of spending creates the reaction of receiving. The action of hoarding creates the reaction of blocking. Which reaction do you want? Do you want the block, or do you want the flow? The choice is yours in every moment. Every time you open your wallet, you are making a choice between faith and fear. Choose faith. Choose flow. Choose life. Remember the widow in the Bible. She had only a little oil left. The prophet told her to pour it out. Logic would say, keep the oil. It is all you have. But she obeyed. And as she poured, the oil multiplied. It filled every vessel she had. It did not run out until she ran out of vessels. If she had refused, starved. You are the widow. Your money is the oil. Pour it out. Do not be afraid. The source is magical. The source is divine. It creates from the invisible. But it needs the motion of your faith to activate it. So, break the dam. Today is the day of the demolition. Blow up the walls of anxiety with the dynamite of faith. Watch the water rush in. It will be scary at first. You are used to the stagnant pool. The rushing river is powerful. It is noisy. It is alive. But it is where you belong. You belong in the flow of greatness. You belong in the stream of miracles. Spend it to keep it. Give it to multiply it. Release it to hold it. This is the paradox. This is the secret. This is the law. Walk in it and be free. Do you possess the secret of the magic purse? The purse that is never empty, the supply that refills itself the moment it is spent. Most people do not. Because they spend with pain. They pay their bills with resentment. They buy their food with worry. And so, the purse stays empty. But there is a way to spend that magnetizes more gold to you. There is a way to send your money out on a mission so that it returns to you multiplied. If you are tired of counting every cent with a trembling hand, listen to this message. We are about to rewrite your relationship with the substance of the universe. You must understand that money is not a solid, static thing that you can trap in a box. Money is a manifestation of energy. It is a symbol of the infinite supply that surrounds you at all times. The magic purse is not a physical leather object in your pocket. It is a state of consciousness. It is the deep, unshakable knowing that your supply comes from God, and because it comes from God, it can never be depleted. When you believe this, when you truly know it in your bones, you can spend with the freedom of a king or a queen. You can spend without the paralyzing fear that says, once this is gone, there will be no more. That fear is the lock on the purse. That fear is the reason the money does not return. Consider how the average person spends money. They walk into a store, they see something they need, and immediately the reasoning mind begins its battle. It calculates. It worries. It thinks about the future with terror. They hand over the cash or the card with a feeling of loss. They feel as though a piece of their life force is being taken away. This feeling of loss is a prayer. It is a negative prayer that says, I am limited. It says, I am poor. And the universe, which is a giant mirror reflecting your beliefs, says, so be it. You have declared loss, so you shall experience loss. The money leaves, and it drags more money with it, and nothing comes back to fill the void. This is the way of the world. This is the way of the NPC, who does not know their own power. But the spiritual master plays a different game. The spiritual master knows the law of circulation. The law states that you must give to receive. You must exhale to inhale. You must sow to reap. When you hoard your money, when you squeeze it tight in a fist of anxiety, you are stopping the circulation. You are trying to inhale without exhaling. You are trying to keep the blood in the heart without letting it pump to the limbs. The result is stagnation. The result is death. The magic purse works only when the clasp is open. It works only when the money flows freely, like a river, blessing everything it touches. You have likely heard the phrase, God loves a cheerful giver. But I tell you, God also loves a cheerful spender. Spending is a form of giving. When you pay the grocer, you are giving him the means to feed his family. When you pay the landlord, you are blessing him with the means to maintain his property. When you buy a dress or a suit, you are supporting the weaver, the tailor, the truck driver, and the shop assistant. You are part of a great chain of divine economy. When you spend with this awareness, you are not losing anything. You are circulating God's abundance. You are an instrument of providence. And because you are an open channel, more supply must rush in to keep the channel full. A pipe that is clogged with rust cannot carry water. A mind that is clogged with fear cannot carry wealth. The secret to the magic purse is the blessing. You must learn to bless your money as it goes out. You must develop a new mental reflex. Instead of the pang of regret when you pay a bill, replace it with a surge of gratitude. Say to yourself, I have a lavish supply, and I pay this bill with love. I bless this money, and I send it forth to do good work in the world. I know it returns to me 1,000-fold, under grace, in perfect ways. Feel the shift in your body when you say this. The tension leaves your shoulders. The knot in your stomach dissolves. You are no longer a victim of the bill. You are the master of the transaction. You are the alchemist turning the lead of debt into the gold of gratitude. Hoarding is an act of distrust. When you save money out of fear, when you stash it away for a rainy day, you are literally planning for the rain. You are telling the subconscious mind, disaster is coming, and I must be ready. And the subconscious mind, which is a faithful servant with no sense of humor, says, very well, we must create a disaster to use this money. And so the car breaks down, the roof leaks, the illness comes, and the money you hoarded is swept away in the storm you invited. This is the paradox. You hoard to be safe, but the act of hoarding creates the danger. You must stop preparing for the rainy day. Prepare for the sunshine. Prepare for the golden age. Save your money for a purpose, yes. Save it for an investment. Save it for a beautiful trip. Save it for a home. But never save it out of the fear that God will stop providing. There is a story of a woman who desperately wanted a fine set of dishes for her table. She had the money, but her poverty consciousness told her it was foolish. It told her she should keep the money in the bank, just in case. So she denied herself the beauty. She ate off chipped plates. She felt poor every time she sat down to dinner. She vibrated poverty. And because she vibrated poverty, her business slowed down. Her income dropped. She lost the money she had saved anyway, through a series of small misfortunes. If she had bought the dishes, she would have sat at her table feeling like a queen. She would have felt rich. And that feeling of richness is the magnet that attracts wealth. You must act rich to be rich. You must demonstrate your faith. This does not mean you should throw your money away foolishly. There is a difference between divine spending and reckless spending. Reckless spending comes from a lack of self, worth trying to fill a void. Divine spending comes from intuition. It comes from a hunch. It is the Spirit saying, buy this, it is for you. When you get that hunch, do not argue with it. Do not let the reasoning mind talk you out of it. The reasoning mind looks at the price tag. The intuitive mind looks at the value. That expensive coat might be the very thing that gives you the confidence to walk into an interview and get the job of your dreams. That vacation might be where you meet your divine partner. The money is just the ticket. Do not hold onto the ticket and miss the show. The magic purse requires you to break the mesmerizing appearance of lack. You look at your bank account and you see a small number. The world tells you that number is the truth. The world tells you that number dictates what you can do. But the spiritual student knows that the bank account is just a shadow. It is a reflection of past thoughts. It is not the source. The source is the infinite intelligence within you. When you are afraid to spend the last $20, you are worshiping the $20. You are making it your God. You are saying this $20 is my only security. This is idolatry. You must trust the invisible supply. You must be willing to spend the last coin with the same confidence as the first coin, knowing that the reservoir is limitless. I have seen this law work time and time again. I knew a man who had his last $10. He needed food, but he also had a deep desire to get a gift to a friend who was sad. Logic said, buy bread for yourself. Intuition said, buy the flour for the friend. He stood in the street debating. He chose the magic purse. He bought the flour. He gave it with a full heart. He walked home with empty pockets but a full spirit. He felt expanded. He felt generous. When he arrived home, he found a letter waiting for him. It contained a check for money owed to him from years ago, a debt he had forgotten. It was enough to buy bread for a month. If he had hoarded the $10, he would have bought the bread, eaten it in fear, and the check might have been delayed or lost. The act of giving opened the door for the receiving. You act as a gatekeeper for your own good. When you close your hand to hold on to money, you also close your hand to receiving money. A closed fist cannot catch a ball. An open hand can catch. You must live with an open hand. You must let the money go so that the money can come. It is a breath. It is a tide. Imagine standing by the ocean and trying to hold back the tide with a bucket. It is impossible. You must let the tide go out so that it can come back in with new treasures. Your finances are a tide. Do not panic when the tide goes out. It is simply gathering momentum to return. The hoarder lives in a small, shrunken world. They buy the cheapest food. They wear the oldest clothes. They never tip. They never treat a friend. And their soul shrinks to match their spending. They become small. They become invisible. Prosperity is an expansion. It is a largeness of spirit. You must practice this largeness. Even if you have very little money, you can practice the art of the magic purse. Buy the best quality of whatever you can afford. Instead of a pound of cheap candy, buy one piece of the finest chocolate. Eat it with relish. Feel the quality. Feel the luxury. You are training your subconscious mind to accept the best. You are raising your vibration from cheap to quality. Use your best things. Do not save the good perfume for the special occasion. Today is the special occasion. Do not save the good china for a guest. You are the guest. You are the guest of God. When you use your best things, you feel worthy. And worthiness is the foundation of wealth. If you do not feel worthy of what you have, you will lose it. If you hoard it away in a dark cupboard, it will tarnish and rot. Use it, enjoy it, wear it, spend it. This is the affirmation of life. This is the affirmation that you expect more to come. The reasoning mind will fight you on this. It will scream, "But I must be prudent. I must be careful." Be careful what? Careful of God. Is God so small that he creates a universe of billions of stars, but cannot find a way to pay your rent? The prudence of the world is often atheism in disguise. It is acting as if God does not exist. True spiritual prudence is listening to guidance. It is not fear. If your guidance says save, then save with joy. If your guidance says spend, then spend with joy. But never, ever do anything with fear. Fear is the sand in the machinery of the magic purse. It grinds the gears to a halt. There is a magical quality to money when it is used for a spiritual purpose. When you spend money to improve yourself, to grow, to heal, or to help another, that money takes on a high vibration. It becomes blessed. It creates a vacuum that draws in substance of a like kind. If you spend money on junk, on things that clutter your life and numb your mind, that money is wasted. It creates no vacuum, only a blockage. Be a wise spender. Be a selective spender. But be a spender. Do not be a stopper. Look at the trees. They do not hoard their leaves. They drop them in the autumn, completely and trustingly. They stand bare in the winter wind, knowing that the spring is coming. They know that new leaves, fresh and green, are already in the divine plan. If the tree tried to glue its old, dry leaves to its branches out of fear, it would die. It would have no room for the new growth. You are trying to glue your old dollars to your branches. You are afraid to be bare. But you must trust the season. You must trust the cycle. Let the leaves go. The spring is guaranteed. The new money is guaranteed. It is already on its way, pushing up through the branches of your faith. You must walk by faith and not by sight. Sight looks at the wallet and says, empty. Faith looks at the spirit and says, full. When you spend from the vision of faith, you startle the world. The world does not understand it. The world thinks you are crazy. But the world is crazy. The world is upside down. The spiritual laws are the only sanity. To him that hath shall be given. To him that hath the consciousness of plenty, more plenty shall be given. To him that hath the consciousness of lack, even what he has shall be taken away. This is the paradox. You keep it by releasing it. You lose it by holding it. Start today. Pick one area of your life where you have been stingy, where you have been pinching the penny until it screams. Maybe it is your food. Maybe it is your clothes. Maybe it is your gifts to others. Go out and spend a little more than you usually would. Do it as an experiment. Do it as a daring act of defiance against the god of fear. Buy the better coffee. Tip the waitress $5 instead of $2. And as you do it, say silently, I am a rich child of a rich father. I circulate this gold with joy. Watch what happens. Watch how you feel. Watch the unexpected avenues of supply that open up. You will find money on the street. You will get a discount. You will get a free meal. The universe loves to play this game with you, but you have to make the first move. The magic purse is inside you. It is your imagination. If you can imagine yourself as wealthy, if you can imagine the money flowing out and flowing in like a golden figure 8, you will manifest it. Do not let the dull, gray thoughts of the collective consciousness drag you down. They are the thoughts of the NPCs. They are the background noise. You are the star. You are the creator. You write the script. Write a script where you are generous. Write a script where you are carefree. Write a script where the supply is endless. And remember, the ultimate purpose of money is not to pile it up. The purpose of money is to make life fluid. It is to make life easy. It is to enable you to express your talents and share your gifts. If the money is piled up in a vault, and you are miserable, you are poor. If the money is flowing through your hands, and you are creating beauty and joy, you are rich. Be a river, not a swamp. Be a channel, not a dam. The fear of poverty is a ghost. It is a phantom that haunts the hallways of the mind. Chase it out. Chase it out with the laughter of the fearless spender. Laugh at the bill, laugh at the price tag. Not in mockery, but in the confidence of victory. Say to the appearance of lack, you have no power over me. My God is my supply, and his treasure house is inexhaustible. When you stand in this truth, the purse refills it has to. It is the law. So, loosen your grip. Let the energy move. Trust the hunch. Buy the flowers. Take the trip. Give the gift. Spend it to keep it. This is the riddle of the wise. This is the secret of the ages. This is the magic purse. It is yours for the taking. All you have to do is open the clap of your faith and let the glory flow. The magic purse is not in your pocket, it is in your mind. The clasp is open. The fear is gone, and the supply is endless. Spend it to keep it, give it to multiply it, and walk forever in the abundance of the now.